Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at kind of doing a deep dive on an issue that's been kind of a thorn in my side. What I consider to be a huge IPv6 outage in Asheville relating to the Spectrum Internet Service Provider. I'll come along and show you some of the ways that I've diagnosed it to be not my problem. And then just to make it extra exciting, we get live on the phone with Spectrum, and you can see just how much fun it is to try and explain a dual stack architecture to the, you know, probably very nice person at the other end who just really is out of their depth. So we'll be taking a look at that. What I've got over here on the main screen, this is a TCP dump that's been running for, a couple day or so. And what I'm taking a look at is packets that come in on my WAN interface on the Spectrum, just coming in from the Spectrum provided modem. Now, my point of view is that if they didn't want me to have these packets, they wouldn't send them to me. I'm not going out to like retrieve them from anywhere. These are just broadcasts that they're free to stop sending me at any time. So I don't consider there to be any sort of issue with this. Specifically, what I'm looking at, I'm taking ARP packets, which as a protocol is more broadcasty than it really ought to be most of the time. That is something that's different in IPv6. They don't do ARP quite the same way. And I'm actually also looking at either ports UDP port 67 or 68. Those are the ports that are used by the DHCP protocol. Again, that's another case of a protocol that really, I don't know, it's more broadcasty than it needs to be. And so that, again, is something that they've done differently in IPv6. So the end result, uh, get through all of this, I would like to be able to go to testipv6.com and get something. But that's here inside the network, Charter doesn't care whether or not, I can get an address on my desktop behind, 5 or 6 different routers and NATs and whatnot. They're only concerned with, plug directly into their modem. And so here in a little bit, we'll pop off and go down there and, plug directly in just, when we make that call to make sure that there's no extenuating circumstances. So having let that thing gather packets for a while. There were a lot that were, probably my, you know, people streaming TV. So collect 4. And so lots and lots of packets. You will see my own MAC address in there. I guess you could try and target me with something for the next few minutes, but once we get into this, reboot and troubleshooting procedure, it'll be, MAC address is not quite the end all be all that it used to be. Yeah, so we definitely, one of the first things I see, even just scrolling along, I see IPv6 traffic. Um, enough to make you think that maybe something's going on. Let's see, is that my interface? 0015C. I believe this to be Cadent. Now, my remembrance, so once upon a time, IPv6 worked great. Here, in the Asheville area and at my place, and I had it set up. I set it up under OpenWRT. I've set it up under pfSense. Never had any problem with it. Then we had the hurricane, which like destroyed everything, and yeah, it hasn't worked. It's been over 6 months, now, and it doesn't seem like it's going to get fixed on its own. Uh, So looking at the traffic that's coming in the Spectrum modem, I see that it's coming from a MAC address that's registered to Cadent. Now that I do a little bit of drill down, they got bought by somebody. I recall that it used to be, what is that called? A head end, a CNTS. Yeah, they got bought up by CommScope, which I thought was interesting. But looks like an old Ascend chassis. The first thing I thought was interesting is I can find nowhere in the specs or documentation that this thing is DOCSIS 3.1. It's an ever-ending evolution of standards, but it just seemed weird. These guys don't have a DOCSIS 3.1 solution. This is it. This is as good as it gets. So my remembrance is that the previous head end was Cisco. This is not the first time I've run TCP dump on my connection. So they just, for some reason, that sticks out as a thing. But we definitely see, what claim to be, traffic out there. We see that CMTS advertising its sort of existence. That's where it does the link local address. That's sort of the equivalent of ARP, if you will, in IPv6. And then we later see, some form of, route advertisement. That would be, a public IPv6 address. And I had this stuff all working great in the past. There was a /56 prefix delegation that I was able to apply to VLANs, and so that stuff was all great. So the point of collecting this data all right, so 84 unique ARP entries. All coming from the same 015C, that cadent, CommScope, whatever. And so let's see if we can just look at the queries themselves. Hello, keyboard. What, 8, 4? Just close. All right, so the short, when we take the layer 2 address out of the equation here, we can see this is my default gateway. And then we see some other, queries coming out. Now, these are all coming from the same MAC address. So whether these are multiple subnets running in parallel on the same wire, which I think would be a pretty common, situation, or if they 11, that's one I'm not familiar with. They're just bridged from somewhere else. I spent some time kind of looking through all this previously. This is a lot more data than I had. I just want to tell. Now, fine. Perfect. All right, so this gives me a list of the gateways that have then requested an ARP. So these have come in. Again, we can verify the MACs are all there. But taking a look purely at public addresses, things that I can ping, 30, I believe, is a network that is actually allocated to the like Department of Defense or something. ISPs are so strapped for address space anymore that they're kind of overflowing, just about wherever they can. And since the Department of Defense, they're not going to put NORAD, out on a Spectrum cable modem. There's no way that's happening. So they felt free to kind of steal and repurpose that address space. I mean, it's not really stolen, but so a lot of different. Okay, what's some slow DNS? Oh, I was paying. Yes, I'm paying. So going down this, list, you get a pretty quick sense, the public IPs are all pingable. And so those are going to correspond to, this is the letter half of that ARC packet. Those are going to respond to, correspond to Spectrum gateways. Again, strangely, all coming from that same MAC address. Yeah, that one there. That one's me. Yes, and all of those have come, from the one MAC address there. So their stuff. Okay, so to take that then to the next step, this what I'm running on here is it's a pfSense installation. It's actually not my normal firewall, but for purposes of trying to fight through some of this stuff with Spectrum, it has a nice, friendly picture that tells me about how it doesn't work. So, where was I going? Gonna look at that file. And so then this is another way to take, essentially, these are the gateways. We saw previously a list of, what appear to be gateways that were asking for ARP entries. Most likely those are, that could be traffic that's getting bridged just from other, from other interfaces or something. But these seem like pretty, clearly addresses. The 30, again, that's the DoD address space. I think they're using that, Spectrum is using that now for their management interfaces on their modems and such. So anyhow, so then what we take as our next point of interest along with that is, where is that mask? Okay. I don't want to have to think too much. Great. All right, a little messy, but there we go. Now we can sort that, unique that. We're doing it the wrong way. It needs to be. There we go. That looks like what we want. So this then 16 back-to-back Class Cs, 8 back-to-back Class Cs. Those are the same. Yet, let's just make it even clearer. That we know is management. Oh, this is terrible, terrible pfSense VI. That's why everything's weird. You can always use IJKNL, or sorry, HJKNL in VI if your arrow keys don't work. Just in this a long time. Okay, so if we add all that up, that's 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. $35 Class Cs times, 254. That's like 80, we're well over 8,000, well over 8,000 potential modem addresses there. Sounds right. So this coming straight from the DHCP, scope. The DHCP server client and response packets that we're seeing on the interface. So yeah, very, very easily, potentially 8,000 on this same router interface. And that's a reasonable, I think that's probably not unreasonable given the state of head-end technology. And I have gotten addresses on 96, 97, and 71 subnets myself. So, I mean, we don't always, always get the same. We'll take a look out for those maybe when we're down looking at the router. Okay, so that's where that BSD starts to fall apart. So the first thing that we would expect in a that's that NR6. The first thing we would expect if we had working IPv6 would be the ability to ping our default gateway. But that doesn't work. Now, if we go a little bit deeper and actually not sure what. We continue to see the CMTS advertising itself. And here I am trying to, announce myself to the world. I went through it a little bit more like with Wireshark and stuff, and it really just seems like, they don't hear anything I say. CMTS sits there and advertises itself all day long. Here we are. Here's the link local address that it's advertising. So from there, is that what we were trying to ping? Yeah. 5CFE5. Yeah, so this is a kind of a funny thing. When dealing with link local addresses, you do always apparently have to specify the interface as well. You would not have to do that with a regular IPv6 address. And so this should work. That's just the shortest, I think it's a Sprint in South Africa or something. So clearly this doesn't, it's not working in this config. So in terms of, diagnosing this, I've gone and tested in a lot of environments, a lot of different laptops, a lot of different things. All of these things used to work, and so none of them work now. So huge IPv6 outage in Asheville. So that's on Spectrum. So I'm gonna go now. Probably grab a glass of water real quick and head off down to the router. It's just outside the seasonal closet, and we'll look at this from a slightly different connection point. Let's see. So I should be able to go. Yes. It's coming. All right, so the next place to go from here is just going to be to unplug the modem, and we're just going to plug this laptop in just with Apple's USB adapter here. Now this Spectrum here, it's a EU2251. It's been a flawless mode at 0. Let's rethink that slightly. I'm going to need to drop, yeah, because I've already looked at it from this end. I'm going to need to drop, okay, we're going to need to, yeah, kind of drop our internet usage just a little bit. Stand by, and I will make that happen. Yeah, just because it occurs to me that my failover internet is not going to be able to really push that much traffic. So, apologies and thanks for the patience. I don't even have an idea, unfortunately. This is not doing what I expected. Yeah, it's bad, but that's unfortunately what I'm going to have to do. All right, well, now that we've dropped our bandwidth usage through the floor, what I'm using is a route map currently. So we can see that this is on a Cisco. This is routing, yeah, traffic out a different way. So I'm just going to remove that. It's going to drop my YouTube stream. And then we'll reestablish let's just swing back to the desk for a second. See if that stream has picked up. Hey, there we are. Fantastic. Back to the router. The ability to kind of quickly and straightforward kind of move internet connections around. That's one of the things that's nice about Cisco. This here is a 2960 that I've got. It was about the only option I could find for 10 gig uh, that was not EOL, that was not fully EOL by Cisco, because that's one thing. They're super difficult to like get software and updates and stuff, or at least they have been in the past, fell out of use. But having switch the modem over here. And Charter, they have this MAC address security. I mean, I definitely have to put air quotes around it because it just seems so crazy that you have to like reboot the router to change, the device that's connected to it. So let's see where that gets us. So one thing I did get out of a previous call with Spectrum, I did get at least get some sort of firmware update on the modem. I mean, I can actually tell that it did something because the LED behavior is different after like a power reset. But generally, this modem has been fantastic. I don't think I've ever had to restart it. So, when something's reliable like that, it's my favorite. See that 192.168.100 address? That's DOCSIS. It's the PC side or something like that. And really what we're, it'll take a second before the modem fully comes online. Okay. And there we go. And see, it's a different one of those subnets than what we were looking at earlier. But, as we can see, no IPv6. Let's see, which interface is that? It's EN3. And so this is currently me. Not, but if I look for things that I didn't say, 8D12559. So I see the CMTS. That's that same MAC address out there again. Advertising its same link local address. And even though I look at and I do see that I have a link local address. it's making me type everything all of a sudden. I really don't want to do that. It's a lot of parts. Ooh. Will that work? Nope, because copy and paste is broken. No route because it's a link local, so when we specify like that. Again, the same situation we saw when we were doing it direct from the VM. It was a pfSense previously. Okay, and so maybe just not meant to have IPv6. Maybe it's a problem. Well, my stuff works fine. I used to have IPv6, and now I have I do have another internet connection here. There's a StarLink. And you see, as soon as I plug into that, I mean, I get I get IPv6 before anything happens. So clearly, the Mac is capable of receiving an address. So let me get that back in the modem here. So, yeah, time to make some friends. Yes, because that's what brings it all together. Yeah, pro tip: keep the router tech support phone number by the router because you don't have it when the internet's out. Ah.
Let me take a look at your equipment.
Okay.
I'm able to access. Can I send a restart signal to help resolve your issue?
Yes.
Restart your equipment. I have sent a signal to initiate the restart. It can take up to 5 minutes for the internet to come back online. The lights on your modem will start blinking soon. Once they turn solid, your internet is good to go. Is there anything else I can do for you before we end the call?
Yes.
How can I help you?
Internet technical support.
Let me take a look at your equipment. Before I connect you with an agent, please tell me your 4-digit security code. We look forward to talking with you.
They say less than 2 minutes, so they chose to keep me on the line.
Please hold on the line for the next available representative and have your account information handy. For your convenience, find spectrum.net.
Looks like about the same address as last time. Oh, it'll be a party.
Thank you for calling Spectrum. This is Levi here in Florida. How can I help you today?
Oh, hey, I'm having a problem with my internet. It's been going on for a couple of months now. It happened right after that we had that Hurricane Helene come through, and in like, I don't know, my IPv6 doesn't work. So, when I get on the internet, I do get an address and I can surf, but anytime I try to go to an IPv6 site, I get just errors and it times out and it can't connect and stuff.
Okay, could I ask for your first and last name?
Okay, hang on one second. And so I had called, last week, same sort of thing, and they did send somebody out, and it seemed like we kind of got to the idea that it was a problem on the Spectrum side, and they were going to do something or something and get in touch, but that didn't happen.
The only thing I could think would be if you wanted to try a different modem through us, we could get you a different one.
It works so well though, man. Like I have never had to touch it ever. It's just that, and it's okay. So here's the thing: it's not just me. My neighbor is in the same boat. Um, and I've been like down a lot of rabbit holes, trying to troubleshoot this. And there's something on the network side that just somebody in the knock has to look at, but I don't know how to point that out. Um, from when I come from a network background, and something is not right. So I don't know how to get it fixed. But we got to do something. So I'm totally open to suggestions.
The only thing I could do here would be to have you get another technician, have them check it out, possibly do a modem swap. That would generally be what would go through. If the tech find anything while out there, they can put in a form, and then if it's like maintenance required or something like that, they'd normally do that. But
So okay, so there's no record of there being any ticket. I mean, like currently. I mean, do you see that they were out last week and nothing changed, or
the last visit from the tech that I have,
they came out actually on
uh,
Sunday?
so good, everything is fine. It was marked no problem found.
Oh Jesus. Oh yeah, right. Okay, so no problem found. So, but I'm calling again. You know.
So that's why I give you those options. We could send you another tech, or try to swap the modem, but
Okay,
those
so
would be the only two options for recourse that I would have for you.
okay, so I want to take one of those options. Because we got to do something. But what happens next time after this doesn't do anything? Do I escalate? Do I get like I mean, we've had the service, we've been Spectrum customers for like a decade. And prior to 6 months ago, all of this stuff worked great. And then, it's nobody's fault. No, I don't just like I say, the hurricane came literally, we were no power for like 2 weeks, man. Like, the internet was out for over a month. Stuff, it just has never worked since. So is there anything you can do? Like, I mean, even just to mark a note on the file so that when I call back, next time, that at least there's something to refer to, because I recognize that this is like an impossible situation. Uh, and I don't know if you were even familiar with IPv6, and the girl faked it last time, but she was nice, but just got to do something.
I could run it by my support team real quick and see what they say, but just like how everything looks, I don't want to make any promises
Yeah, yeah.
about anything crazy. Just I could have them take a look at it,
O-
see what they tell us,
Okay,
and
if you would do that, that would be so super awesome. Let me tell you the simplest way I know to explain it. I have a Mac laptop. I have a Windows laptop. I have a Chromebook. I have like every device. Um, I can plug I have a StarLink also here. When I plug any of my devices into StarLink, I get an IPv6 address, and I can go to testipv6.com. That's I see it work all the time. When I plug into Spectrum and I've taken my entire network down. I'm going just like I'm power cycling the modem between every test. I got a stack of laptops. I mean, I'll text you photos. It's a mess. And every single one, I get a regular version 4 old school address. I can surf. The speeds are good. It's reliable. But I do not get that version 6 address. And digging a little bit deeper, with some Linux tools and stuff, it looks like there's a configuration problem, at the head end. So, I mean, this is not, you don't have a button to call them. So, I mean, and who am I either? But yeah, just that's where we're at. And take all the time you need. Gosh, send me to a survey. You'll get all the 5 stars. Whatever.
I have one question for you.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you were doing those tests, was that like hardwired right off modem or
yeah, yeah.
hardwired off modem router?
No, no,
Like
no.
combination?
No. I've tried Apple routers. I've tried software pfSense. I've tried all that stuff, but that is hardwired to the router. Like I took all that stuff out. It's like because you guys are going to blame the router, and if I only tell you I have Apple, you're going to blame Apple. And it's not. And I don't mean.
That's why I wanted to ask that question, was because that's something they're gonna ask me. Was like, well, did he go off the router? Or did he go off the modem? That's the only reason I wanted to get that clarification now.
No, straight off y'all's modem. Yeah, and I got it's a Dell, ugly thing, but it when the stuff works, everything works. Like so.
It's just weird because your modem itself
Yeah, I don't know if you
So
it. I don't know if you have the option to try and ping and see if we get a response back. Um, I used to get the prefix delegation, and I had all the routers and the DMZs and the VLANs, and it was all perfect. And I've been round and round. It works with StarLink. Even though that guy is obviously like a drugged up psychopath. Uh, he did make he did make some pretty cool internet.
I'm gonna run this by my team real quick and just have them take a second look at it for us.
Thank you.
Um, just to let you know, right now using the IPv6 off that modem, I am getting a continual data flow.
Huh.
Ping test is going good.
Wow.
That's just why, like, I was saying, like, we can get you a new modem was because from here, I'm like, everything looks good. So I was wondering if it could be a modem issue. We get another tech out there to see if there is
Yeah,
something.
let's try a different brand. I mean, it could just be, a firmware update that happened and nobody ever, thought about it.
So I'll put you on a brief hold real quick, run it by my support team, see if they have any third options,
Yeah.
and then we'll see what we can get.
Thank you so much, man. That's totally perfect. Take all the time.
Thank you so much. I'll be right back.
Okay, bye. Yeah. All right, so that's what we know. Whether we'll get anywhere with that. Oh, and my laptop went to sleep and the ping died.
It's easier than ever with the My Spectrum app. It's the simple way to manage your account from your mobile device. Chat with our virtual assistant, enroll in autopay, even
all of those great things. That's not what I wanted to do. Turn that guy off. So this guy seems friendly at least. Willing to consider. Yeah, there may be some network issues, so that's nice. My audio is working. It's a banger, all right. What can I do to get that screen back on? So turn it off, back on. This is so exciting. Ooh, that's something good. Just what I wanted. Still, it's sitting here. Yeah? Yeah?
Alright, I'm so sorry for that delay, and
No.
they just checked over everything too. Um, it's just different because everything on our end, they double checked everything, and they were like, well, let's just take a look. From their end too, it looks like you should be able to go modems feeding off IPv6, so it should, in theory, give you IPv6 to the devices on your end as well.
Yeah.
But they said the same thing. Getting a tech out there is going to be the best option. So they actually booked this one in. It'll pop up in just a second, and I'll see the availability. But having the tech get out there, they'll be able to see it. Like from our end, like we understand nobody calls Spectrum for fun.
Yeah,
But,
right.
like, it's one of those things that like they don't have a way that I can have you email us like findings and things like that.
Yeah.
So we have to send the tech out. The tech has to do the fact gathering, and then if they comes down to something where they do need to put in a ticket, like maintenance or whatever, the tech has to request that.
Uh-huh.
So,
I mean, maybe just having another one in there will help. And I mean, it's worth trying a different. I mean, I suppose it's worth trying a different. If we can get a different brand, that would be the. I don't know. This modem's been great. I hate to let it go, but
yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is maybe that. And then it looks like it popped up. The new tech would be, what is this? Um, Monday.
just want that whole new protocol.
No,
So
I understand. I'm so sorry. This is just different because from my end here, everything across the board should work for you. But then with it stopping there, we're just gonna have them get out there and take a look at it first
yeah,
for you.
yeah, no worries. I appreciate it, man. That sounds great.
Is there anything
No, I think we're in good shape.
Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a great day. And that
Yeah.
tech will be out there on Sunday to hopefully get things rolling in the right direction for you.
All right. Listen, thanks again, man.
No problem at all. Thank you for your time. You have a wonderful night.
Hey, you too. Bye bye. So that's no trouble found. Which I mean, I guess modem is a possibility that maybe it's not. There's probably some sort of like broadcast suppression. I mean, if I had to, I mean, I can't ping it. It doesn't work. So I don't know what else to do. Let's go ahead and kind of reassemble things the way they were. Video here today. I'm just using these are analog security cameras. So that's what I've got in my seasonal closet, but it's the cable that we're plugged into is a pretty poor quality. So don't judge it based purely off that. All right, and yeah, max security will power cycle that. So, but if anybody, out there wants to get in on the action, I think that if you go to test-ipv6.com, you will see that you do not have an address here in the downtown Asheville area. And I don't know. I don't know how many service tickets it's going to take to get some kind of action, but one can hope.